All right. Okay, gentlemen, let's get started. So let's start with Nicholas. We can go down the line to introduce yourself, who you are, what you're building or investing, and especially tell us why. What makes it personal for you?
My name is Nicholas Tetro. I run 4 elections, and I'm a Montreal-based former politician, co-chairman of Irene Zhang's fan club. And I'm deeply involved into regenerative medicine, and because basically the Canadian healthcare system is public, it's government control from A to Z, and I really feel, Irene, that it is extremely outdated. And they have such difficulty to integrate change. There's so many hurdles and red tape and complications and unions and political interventions, and I would say collusion and corruption, and it's out there in the public. There's been so many arrests by the police of corruptions in this system that the dice are rigged. And Canada, it's about time that a big revolution and reform needs to be done to benefit the people. When my son Arthur drowned, we have like 30 million views on social media of this story. I've been throughout all media in US and Canada, and it's so impossible to understand that when our American doctors were specialized in drownings, were calling the Montreal Children's Hospital, giving them advice. The doctors in Montreal just said, we don't need advice from medical doctors. They don't know better than us. But it's not true. And if Arthur would have been in the hyperbaric chambers, within the first 48 hours, he'd be walking today because it's the only thing that works. So that's why I am deeply involved emotionally and using all my power and all of my network to try to implement positive change for the people, and not to get rich with it, but to help the people.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Iraj Kiani. I'm a CEO, chairman, and founder of our pharmaceutical company called Novarta Biopharma. We have created a drug for treatment of 13 different cancers, such as cervical cancer, which is killing tens of thousands of women every day. And unfortunately, there is no cure for it in the world. And according to the preclinical study we have done, our drug is a promising treatment for that cancer. And with my team, with my very educated team, all of them are better than me, more educated than me. As an example, my wife, Dr. Ferry, she's an MD doctor with 4 board, and other member of board, and my scientific team. We are hoping very soon, very soon, we bring our drug to the market, and with the grace of God, saving millions and millions of lives. The same virus we are working on, which is causing all this cancer, is called HPV, human papilloma virus. Also, it causes 10 different warts, such as plantar wart, and over 10% population of any country in the world today are infected with this plantar wart, and unfortunately 50 to 60% of these infected people are children. And unfortunately, most of them today are working with pain. We have completed our human clinical trial, phase 1 and 2, for that drug for treatment of that plantar wart. with a breakthrough result of 64.3% efficacy and 0 SAE, severe adverse event.
Thank you, Dr. Raj. We got to move on.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Hi, Greg Downey, Perm Ventures. We're out of Sarasota. Started Perm Ventures back in 2010, actually at the Feast of Purim in February. So there's a whole reason why a Scotch-Irish Christian guy like myself has a Jewish holiday for a name. So I can tell you that if you want to hear on a different note. But grew up in early stage companies. We had one that was backed by Kleiner Perkins, Sequoia, Goldman, and then just experienced a lot of this valley of death, this seed to A range, where a lot of these really cool innovations just go to die. Less than 2% of startups get funding. And so, I spent a lot of time in Silicon Valley trying to figure out how we couldn't get money into our pediatric orthopedic implant company. It's a public company now. And then when we had that exit, I started my company in 2010, is when I'm gonna fix this. And the main elements that I see with these founders is we work with a lot of PhDs, a lot of MDs, and we do stuff outside of healthcare. But it's the elements is due diligence, is understanding the level of due diligence you need to go through to get that investment. And if you're a first-time founder or even a second-time founder, I kind of joke, it's like getting a full colonoscopy for, months to get an investment. So how do you go through that process and succeed? So we put that whole engine together. We have a whole due diligence process. We've run hundreds of people through it. We put about $850 million together because of it. And then we also help companies get to market. So we do a lot of stuff with the VA system. We launch companies overseas in Japan. But it's how do you do a dual path to get revenue while you're going through the FDA process, and as well as getting data in good environments. And the third element is a $100 million fund. So we wanted to build a whole ecosystem to where we can find the best operators, the best founders, and support them, bring in teams, financial and human capital, and get in the market.
Thank you, Greg.
Good morning. My name is Sanjay Srivastava, and I have dedicated my last 3 decades of my life for doing one thing, and that's to reduce open surgeries for complicated things like heart surgery, brain surgery. And we can do these procedures minimally invasively, meaning we can remove blood clots from brains now without having to cut the brain open. And how is that possible? The reason that's possible is that there's few places in the body where big arteries and veins are very close to the skin, and that's one of them is groin. So we can snake the catheters in from groin to the brain and remove the blood clot. We can do the same thing, go from groin to people's hearts and repair or replace their bad valves inside the hearts. So every 3 to 5 years, I have taken one part of the body, developed and commercialized a set of tools for fixing that thing without doing open surgery, and then moved on to a different part. After doing clinical trial, doing the intellectual property, getting the FDA approvals, and that's what we do. And then we try to sell that company to a bigger company that has better and bigger global footprint for commercializing, for a broader commercialization. So at Innova Vascular, we have done clot retrievers that are already FDA approved for removing blood clots from lungs and deep veins in legs. And we're looking to broaden the commercial outreach of that, and that's why I'm here. The FDA products are already FDA approved, and I'll tell you more about it as we go on. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm Paul Jaminet, founder and CEO of AngieX. I'm here because my wife discovered a way to cure cancer or save the lives and give normal lifespans to all solid cancer patients. So we started a company in 2015. I'm here fundraising for it. In addition, before that, we wrote together a natural health and diet book, and we started a health retreat, which had terrific natural health results. And I have a long-term goal of transforming healthcare, integrate natural approaches with modern drug technologies which can provide precision targeted therapy and give genuine benefits to people without adverse effects. And so I think the biomedical technology has advanced in key ways, and also It's much easier than ever to learn what natural health approaches work with things like wearable information collection and computer technology. So, I think tremendous potential to greatly extend lifespans, and I'm happy to be here.
Hey everyone, my name is Hanif Brown. I'm the founder and CEO at FitMatch AI. So a little bit of background about me. I graduated with a math degree, worked on Wall Street for a few years, worked in private equity for a few years, and started FitMatch AI. Today we like to call ourselves the ChatGPT of the human body. Our entire goal every day when we wake up is to build computer vision and AI tools that anyone can use a smartphone to get body analytics and insights. So today, Major League Soccer works with us, 6 Major League Baseball teams worked with us, but specifically when it comes to digital health, we're now being used by health providers, insurers, to get remote health tracking on body analytics at scale. So you can imagine someone after bariatric surgery can't come back into the clinic, they could use our smartphone app to actually get their body analytics at scale, or the amount of Americans who live and don't live near a clinic who can now use AI to upload their body analytics that their clinicians can track them, or somebody on a GLP-1 who can now get body comp at scale in a longitudinal fashion. So earlier I presented on the future of musculoskeletal health, where you can actually just one day put your smartphone down, walk around a room, computer vision will detect your fall risks, your asymmetries, your stride length. It would also ask for your range of motion and calculate that, plus do a body scan of you and get your lean mass, fat mass, and bone mineral content all within minutes. And so this is something that we think is a big blind spot in healthcare, and it's a mission that we're excited about. So pleasure to be here.
Thank you. My name is Gaurav Kohli. I'm the CEO founder for Vital Friend. And what we have basically here, so I'm here actually here to raise, but myself, I have 5 exits in the past, and the investors have gotten over 30x in a couple of my companies in the past, and ran successfully into multi-billion-dollar companies. So and I'm also an investor in many different startups and everything. So my only thing is that whatever we build, we got to have the investor mindset also, as not just only the founder mindset of building. So what we have built the first FDA-cleared consumer wearable medical watch in the world that can collect and build this bridge between diagnostic data and fitness data together. Because can you rely on all the different data that's coming in on all the different wearables that people are wearing nowadays? Can you take it to the doctor and get it tested? Can you understand what's happening? Can you give it to your parents and believe that their health is taken care of? We are the only one in the world that can do blood pressure using oximeter blood pressure with a cuff, and it's on the watch. This is what is it. We call it Buddy, B-U-D-D-I. And basically, this is your buddy, which can collect all your data 24/7, 1,440 data points per day, 8.64 million data points per day per watch. That much data, you don't get a data overload. We summarize it, and then it's validated by doctors, and we have 5 CPT codes completely covered by everybody who has insurance in America, part of the qualification of chronic conditions. Now, I ask you again, UCLA is using us for oncology studies. UC Irvine is using us for other medical heart studies, cardiovascular. When you go through different of the things like hyperbaric chamber and other different areas that here the other my speakers are talking about, how do you measure before and after the treatments that you do? This is what we are into. So it's the first ever medical watch that actually truly your friend. One wearable, not many. And it can also take a phone call. So I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
All right, gentlemen. So next will be individual question to each of you. And my ask is please keep it concise and under 2 minutes. And otherwise, I will give a hard stop. Okay? Nicholas, so hyperbaric oxygen therapy has been labeled experimental by mainstream medicine for decades, but yet the results speak for themselves in your work. So how should investors think about therapies that are clinically compelling but face institutional or regulatory resistance?
I think that the clear problem is the chicken or the egg. I think the problem is the You know, in the US, the biggest lobby group, I think, is military. In Canada, it's big pharma. The issue is everybody knows that it works. When you drown, you need hyperbarics. It's funny how the military, Navy around the world, they have some of these chambers in all their bases because they know it works. The US military knows. My dad, who was a military spy for Canada, knows they have those in their bases. Israel has them as well. So convenient that we don't have access, the civilian population, to it. Why? Because it works. And because hyperbarics would hurt the pharma industry. It would hurt the painkiller industry. That's why they're preventing it. It exists for more than 100 years. So there is no excuse, no logic besides endemic corruption and collusion blocking access to it. In the US, I'll just do one political comment for the US because I love the US, but I need to say this. It's so strange that in the US, all the states, the insurance companies, Irene, they reimburse hyperbarics for dogs and cats. Yet for humans in the US, about 42% of the states are being reimbursed for humans. Kind of funny, no? Isn't it? Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Iraj, Novata 110 takes a botanical approach to treating HPV and cancer, which is quite unconventional in biopharma. How do you make the case to investors who are historically more comfortable backing synthetic drug pipelines?
We are not coming and promising on project. We have done our phase 2 with FDA. Phase 1 and 2, we have completed with a breakthrough result of 64.3% efficacy and 0 side effect. And we are going to do the phase 3 right now. Already we have made a drug for it. And usually phase 3 is a copy of the phase 2 with extra number of the subject. Therefore, it shouldn't be any risk or problem for any investor if they would like to come and join us.
Thank you. Great. Family office and private investors are increasingly investing into longevity and health. And so what are the most common mistakes that you see founders make when they are trying to pitch to these types of investors?
Let's see. Well, from a healthcare standpoint, it can be pretty technical. So it's really understanding how to talk to the investor, but also to have a process, right? It's, there's that fire hose method, which I think anybody, you just think of just basic human communication, right? You want to get to know people. What are their mandates? What's important to them? What's important to the family? What are they looking for? And then, try not to read from a script, right? It's just, if you're running a company, if it's your deal, you should be able to get to the 30,000-foot view pretty easily. So, just the human-to-human conversation, but also understanding, like I said earlier, is understanding the due diligence process. That it's one thing to get someone interested in your deal. It's an entirely different thing to make it through the whole due diligence process. So it's understanding how to go through that, and we do that with a lot of our companies. We do a lot of really, really smart people, but it's also understanding that they're going to be syndicated to other folks that we know, and they have to be A+. And so we put them through a pretty rigorous process, but for them, it's really understanding how to speak investor speak, and then what a data room looks like, what has to be in it, how to go through the process. That's really I think the key elements.
Thank you. Sanjay, cardiovascular disease is one of the leading drivers for mortality and disease. So, but when it comes to longevity discussions, it rarely brought up as a topic because people often would go into supplements and maybe think about the genetics. And so if you were to make a case, why should cardiovascular health be front and center in how we think about living longer and better?
Thank you, Irene, for that question. So cardiovascular disease is a leading cause of death. And by making these things treatable and making these things treatable in an easy manner, overall longevity is clearly getting much, much better. If you look at now we can, again, heart attack or before heart attack, we can treat patients and they live longer with things like stents. We can treat strokes. People's quality of life gets better. And American health system rewards. That's why we are, America is the USA is the #1 innovator in all of the medical devices that we are doing, where patients can go home the next day after very, very complex heart procedures, and they go to work the next day. Procedures like ours, which otherwise could have been a killer for a patient. Patient could have died from that. As a result, these devices are very, very beautifully reimbursed. Like my product has 87% gross margin, and we have the potential to give people something like 5 to 10x return in 2 to 3 years with no real risk because we have FDA clearance already. So those are the examples. Now, why people don't know about this medical device, especially interventional industry that evolved in last 2 to 3 years, last 2 to 3 decades? Because it's a smaller industry as compared to pharma or biotech. But we're changing life, we're definitely increasing longevity, we're improving quality of life, and we deeply believe in it. And you've seen that how now everybody knows stents. A lot of people are getting some very, very serious diseases. There's a disease in legs called peripheral vascular disease. There's carotid artery disease. There is diseases in liver and kidney that are being treated that way. Thank you.
Paul, you went from being an astrophysicist to biotech founder, and your cancer approach targets the tumor's blood supply rather than the tumor itself. How did that unconventional background lead you to a mechanism that Big Pharma has largely overlooked?
Yeah, so I am unconventional, and my wife actually is also. So she grew up in a very poor family in Asia and but loved science and made her way to the U.S. to do that. And she discovered the biology, which is very special. And it's really a biology that enables new blood vessel formation. But it turned out to be also the same biology that enables tumor cells to invade or metastasize. And it was just, but she couldn't get anyone else excited about it except me. And so the responsibility kind of fell on me to build the company. And I was a practiced entrepreneur, so I had gone from being an astrophysicist at Harvard to starting a tech company. And so I knew what to do and had the duty to do it. So that's how that happened. And the unconventional aspect of it, you need it. You need to be some might say a little bit crazy, but as an entrepreneur, you need to be willing to walk out on a limb and be comfortable that the limb is going to grow before, solid enough to bear your weight when you get out on it. And in drug development, it's especially difficult. It's around 15 years and $300 million to get a drug to approval. So it's a very long limb to walk out on.
Thank you, Paul. Harnif, FitMatch was born in fashion, but you are now monitoring GLP-1 patients and neurological conditions from home, all from 4 photos. At what point did you realizing that you weren't building a retail company anymore? And what does the healthcare world still not understand about what body composition data can actually tell us?
Yeah. When we started, the vision was to create a AI platform that could do this at scale. My background was in retail, so that's honestly why we started in retail, because we could call upon retailers. And then I would say the reason why we pivoted or we started to expand into healthcare was because we started to get asked to do it. If you think about what I mentioned earlier, there are 220 million adults in the US. 97% of them don't get this analysis. And so in order to do this at scale, you need a very cost-effective way that everyone has already, which is access to a smartphone. So that's really what we're building. It's a very ambitious project. We're raising a Series B right now to expand our growth. In terms of what people don't realize is that, the standard methods of looking at things are BMI and standing on a scale. Body composition from fat mass to lean mass to bone density are way more indicative of almost every disease out there. So if you can bring it to the masses through smartphone and computer vision technology, it could really be game-changing, and that's the mission that we're on.
Thank you. Gaurav, Vital Friends Buddy Wearable does something most consumer devices still cannot, which is continuously monitor blood pressure. And blood pressure probably is the single most predictive vital for longevity outcomes. So what does real-time 24/7 blood pressure data can unlock for senior care that a snapshot reading at a doctor's office simply cannot?
So basically, right now, we are here in this panel in 30 minutes right now. And you know how many people died because of high blood pressure, hypertension, and other different vitals? It's unbelievable. So, as I think Sanjay was saying, is one of the most important piece for tackling as well as identifying other than sleep, other than sugar, right? And so we took upon blood pressure as the first one because when you continuously monitor the data tells you everything. One single aspect of going your annual visit or 2 times or even 10 times to your doctor does not give you the space point. Heart rate, HRV, people are always measuring that because of fitness products already. That does not define the blood pressure. Blood pressure is based on blood flow and resistance. It's very 2 different compounds that connect to tell you the exact blood pressure readings that people need to know. And having that monitored all the time, we are the only one who can do a deep sleep blood pressure. A deep sleep blood pressure is a true measurement of your blood pressure when your body is completely at rest, your bladder is completely empty. In that case, a lot of things that are there, which is a true way of WHO, how to take a blood pressure. When you go to your doctor's office, you're still not taking the high blood pressure. Most of the time when your blood pressure comes high, or you have a white coat syndrome, they will tell you, oh, please relax. Maybe you're not having enough water, or something else, right? At home, now with the Buddy, you can do a deep sleep blood pressure, which is a true one. When you add that with different biomarkers and everything continuously monitoring, it gives you real longevity with quality.
Okay. Rapid fire, popcorn style. Whoever have the answer first, come. So I'm sure everybody is very health conscious, right? And part of the reason that you're in this space. So what type of habits or practice that you do either daily or weekly that you swear by, that you hope more people would adopt that for health and longevity?
Yeah, I guess I'll start. I think the 2 keys are a natural whole foods diet, things that were recently alive as plants and animals and balanced. And the other key is circadian rhythm entrainment, which means sunshine, exercise, and eating during the daytime, and no white light, no intense exercise, no food at night, and those will have the biggest impact.
Yep, I think, if I can give you one thing, message out of this is breathing exercises can save you a lot of troubles. And I've adopted those in my 50s when I was gaining, of course, the weight was there and blood pressure and all that stuff. So I don't take blood pressure medication, I adopted breathing exercises, and that reduces blood pressure by about 15 points. And then second thing is fasting, intermittent or periodic fasting. You probably wouldn't need to go to doctor, believe it or not, if you do these 2 things, other than regular check.
If I need to add, I'll say, first of all, is your walking. If you're mobile, you're smart and you're good, you'll always be healthy. And please don't believe that 10,000 steps a day, suddenly you'll be all fine. I'll give you examples of studies that we have done where people walk in the gym over 10,000, whole day are sitting down and doing nothing. That's very unhealthy. So what you do is when you do walking 10,000, it's broken down at an hour basis, broken down throughout the day. And then the food intake that you take has to be nutritious. It's very, very critical. And I don't believe in if it's the veg or non-veg. You gotta be thinking about people's lifestyle. Within the lifestyle, what can you do? So breathing, as somebody mentioned already, there is walking and exercise. It's okay, you can do. Most importantly, meditation. I think that's critical, to give time to yourself and connect with you.
Great.
Watch what you put in your pie hole. So there's a lot of toxic foods out there. So you also don't need 3 meals a day. If you look at that, that's a marketing play. That's all deep-rooted in history. So we have, at our house, we get up early, we do the lemon water, we just get outside, get the sun, go for a walk twice a day. I don't like to run anymore. I did that a long time ago. But just walks. But it's also 2 meals a day, late breakfast, early dinner, and then you have that intermittent fasting. But if you do those things, you'll be surprised how the waistline trims up and how a lot of things just improve themselves.
Nicholas?
It's very simple in my view. 2 meals a day, no sugar, no fried food, no fake sugars, and that's it. Try to walk and stay healthy. That's a good start.
Anyone want to add?
Play soccer and or so play soccer or whatever sport you enjoy and sleep. Those are my 2 big ones.
Anything want to add?
Stay safe. Try to avoid the danger in your life. As an example, if you need sleeping pills, rather than you get Lucentia or something similar, very simple. You can have melatonin. I'll take it. It's work. It's supplement. You don't need to go for drug. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.